You don't lack potential. You lack control over how you use it, and that's why your life hasn't changed yet. Most people walk through life believing they don't have enough potential. They look at others and think they are more talented, more capable, more gifted. But the truth is far simpler and far more uncomfortable, and it's not that people don't have potential. It's that they are not aware of how much of it they are wasting every single day. Because potential is not something you see directly. It is not written on your face. It does not announce itself loudly. It exists quietly, in the background of your life, waiting to be used. And if you are not aware of how your mind, your habits, and your energy are functioning, that potential remains unused. Think about it. Every day, your attention is being pulled in different directions. Your mind is filled with thoughts, some useful, many unnecessary. Your habits run automatically without you questioning them. Your reactions happen instantly without awareness. And all of this is happening while your potential sits there, untouched. Not because it isn't there, but because you are not seeing how your system is working. Awareness is the starting point of everything. Without awareness, you are living on autopilot. You wake up, follow routines, react to situations, think familiar thoughts, and repeat the same patterns. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into years, and nothing truly changes. Not because you cannot change, but because you are not consciously directing your life. And this is where potential gets lost. Because potential requires direction, it requires intention. It requires you to see clearly what is happening inside you before you can change anything outside of you. If you are not aware of where your time is going, you will waste it. If you are not aware of where your energy is going, you will drain it. If you are not aware of your thoughts, they will control you. And when all of this happens together, your potential never gets a chance to express itself. You may feel busy, but you are not progressing. You may feel tired, but you are not growing. You may feel like you are trying, but you are not moving forward in a meaningful way. Because effort without awareness is just movement without direction, and direction is what unlocks potential. The moment you begin to observe yourself, how you think, how you react, how you spend your time, how you use your energy, something starts to shift. You begin to notice patterns. You start seeing where you are wasting time. You recognize thoughts that don't serve you. You become aware of habits that keep you stuck. And this awareness creates clarity. Because now, instead of living unconsciously, you start living intentionally. You begin to make choices instead of just reacting. You begin to guide your attention instead of losing it. You begin to use your energy instead of wasting it. And this is where your potential starts to come alive. Not in one big moment. Not in a sudden transformation, but in small shifts of awareness that change your direction. You stop doing things blindly. You stop following patterns automatically. You start questioning, adjusting, and improving. And slowly, your life begins to change. Because potential is not something you unlock once. It is something you activate continuously through awareness. The more aware you become, the more control you gain. And the more control you gain, the more of your potential you can actually use. So if you truly want to use your potential, don't start by trying to do more. Start by seeing more. Because the moment you become aware of how your life is actually working is the moment your hidden potential finally gets a chance to become real. Once you begin to develop awareness, the next thing you start to notice is something even more powerful: your energy. Not just physical energy, but mental and emotional energy. The kind of energy that determines how you think, how you act, how you feel, and ultimately how much of your potential you actually use. Because your potential is not just about what you can do. It is about how much energy you can direct toward what matters. Every single day, you wake up with a certain amount of energy. And whether you realize it or not, that energy is constantly being spent. The question is not if you are using your energy. The question is where you are using it. Most people don't think about this. They assume energy is something that just goes up and down randomly. But in reality, your energy follows your attention. Wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. If your attention is on distractions, your energy gets scattered. If your attention is on negativity, your energy becomes heavy. If your attention is on overthinking, your energy gets consumed internally, and by the end of the day, you feel drained. Not because you did meaningful work, but because your energy was used in the wrong places. This is why many people feel tired without progress. They are spending energy, but not investing it. And there's a big difference between the two. Spending energy is reacting, scrolling, worrying, overthinking, and getting pulled in different directions. Investing energy is focusing, creating, learning, building, and moving forward with intention. One drains you without results. The other builds you over time. But you cannot invest your energy if you are not aware of where it is going. This is why control of attention becomes so important. Because attention is the gateway to your energy system. If you can control your focus, you can control your energy. And if you can control your energy, you can start directing your potential. Think about moments in your life when you were fully focused on something meaningful. Your energy felt strong, stable, and aligned. You were not easily distracted, you were not overthinking. You were simply present and engaged. That is not an accident. That is controlled energy. Now compare that to moments where your attention was scattered. You started one thing, then switched to another. You checked your phone, got distracted, lost focus, came back, and repeated the cycle. By the end, you felt exhausted, but nothing significant was completed. That is uncontrolled energy. Same person, same potential, different use of energy. And that difference decides everything. Because your potential is not unlocked by having more energy. It is unlocked by using your existing energy in the right direction. But most people never learn this. They keep searching for motivation, waiting to feel ready, hoping for the right moment. But the truth is, those things come after you start directing your energy, not before. When you begin to take control of your attention, something shifts. You start choosing where your focus goes. You reduce unnecessary distractions. You stop giving your energy to things that don't matter. And slowly, your energy becomes more concentrated. And concentrated energy is powerful. Because now, instead of being spread across many directions, your energy is building in one place. It is supporting your growth, your actions, your goals. It is no longer working against you. It is working for you. And that is when you begin to feel real progress. Not because your life suddenly became easier, but because your energy is finally aligned with your direction. Because in the end, your potential is only as strong as your ability to direct your energy. And the moment you master where your energy goes is the moment your real power begins to show. Once you become aware of your energy and start seeing where it goes, the next realization becomes impossible to ignore. Your mind is the control center of everything. It can either become the tool that builds your life or the trap that keeps you stuck. And the truth is, for most people, it is doing both at the same time, but in the wrong direction. Because the mind is powerful, but it is not automatically trained. Left on its own, your mind will not guide you toward growth. It will guide you toward comfort. It will repeat familiar thoughts. It will protect you from risk. It will create doubts, fears, and distractions. Not because it wants to harm you, but because it is designed to keep you safe, not successful. And this is where the problem begins. Because what feels safe is not always what helps you grow. Your mind will overthink before you act. It will imagine failure before you try. It will question your ability before you even begin. And if you are not aware, you will start believing everything it says. That is how the mind becomes a trap. Not because it is negative, but because it is untrained. When the mind is untrained, it runs on default patterns. It repeats past experiences. It holds on to fear. It creates stories that feel real but are not necessarily true. And slowly, these patterns start controlling your behavior. You hesitate more, you doubt more, you delay more, and your potential stays locked. Not because you don't have it, but because your mind is not allowing you to use it. But here's the shift. The same mind that creates these limitations can also remove them, because the mind is not fixed. It is flexible. It can be trained. When you start becoming aware of your thoughts, something changes. You begin to see that not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves your belief. Not every doubt deserves your action. You start creating distance. Instead of reacting automatically, you observe. Instead of believing everything instantly, you question. Instead of following every thought, you choose which ones matter, and this is where control begins. Because now, your mind is no longer running freely. You are guiding it. At first, this takes effort. Your mind is used to certain patterns. It will try to pull you back into overthinking, into fear, into distraction. But every time you choose a different response, you are training it. You are showing your mind a new direction. Instead of overthinking, you bring it back to focus. Instead of fear, you move into action. Instead of doubt, you choose progress. And slowly, your mind begins to adapt. Because repetition does not just create problems, it also creates solutions. The same way your mind learned limiting patterns, it can learn empowering ones. Clarity becomes stronger. Focus becomes easier. Confidence starts to build. Not because everything is perfect, but because your mind is now supporting your direction, instead of blocking it. And this is where your real potential begins to unlock. Because a trained mind does not eliminate challenges, it helps you move through them. It does not remove fear completely. It prevents fear from stopping you. It does not stop thoughts from appearing. It stops them from controlling you. And once you reach that point, your entire experience of life begins to change. You are no longer reacting to everything. You are no longer stuck in mental loops. You are no longer held back by your own thinking. Instead, your mind becomes aligned with your goals, your actions, and your growth. And that alignment is powerful. Because when your mind is working with you instead of against you, your energy flows in the right direction, your actions become consistent, and your progress becomes real. And that is the difference between having potential and actually using it. It all depends on whether your mind is your greatest tool or your strongest limitation. Once you understand your mind and begin to take control of your energy, there is one truth that becomes impossible to ignore. Potential alone changes nothing. You can have ideas, dreams, talent, and even moments of clarity. But if none of it turns into consistent action, your life remains the same. And this is where discipline enters. Because discipline is what turns potential into reality. Without discipline, your actions depend on your feelings. One day you feel motivated, so you start. The next day you don't feel like it, so you stop. You begin something with excitement, but you don't stay with it long enough to see results. And this cycle repeats again and again. You start, you stop, you try, you pause, you move, you fall back. And over time, this inconsistency destroys momentum. It doesn't matter how much potential you have. If your effort is not consistent, your results will never compound. You will always feel like you are beginning again. This is why discipline is not about forcing yourself to suffer. It is about creating stability in your actions. It is about doing what needs to be done, even when your mood changes, even when motivation disappears, even when it feels easier to avoid it. Because discipline removes the need to rely on how you feel. When you are disciplined, you don't ask yourself, "Do I feel like doing this today?" You ask, "Is this aligned with what I want to become?" And if the answer is yes, you act. That shift is powerful, because now your actions are guided by purpose, not emotion. At first, this feels difficult. Your mind is used to following comfort. It wants the easy path. It looks for excuses. It tries to delay. But discipline is the ability to not follow that instinct every time. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. And every time you make that choice, you are strengthening your control. Because discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The more you act consistently, the easier it becomes to continue. The more you show up, the less resistance you feel. And slowly, your actions start becoming automatic in a different way. Instead of automatically delaying, you start automatically moving. Instead of automatically avoiding, you start automatically facing things. Instead of automatically quitting, you start automatically continuing. And that shift changes everything. Because now your energy is not wasted in hesitation. It is being used in action. It is building something. It is creating progress. And progress builds confidence. Not the kind of confidence that comes from thinking positively, but the kind that comes from proof. You see yourself showing up. You see yourself staying consistent. You see yourself doing what you said you would do. And that builds trust in yourself. And once you trust yourself, your potential becomes real. Because now, your ideas are not just ideas. Your goals are not just thoughts. They are supported by action. They are backed by consistency. They are moving forward every single day, even if slowly. And this is how real transformation happens. Not in one big moment of motivation, but in small, repeated acts of discipline that build over time. Actions that seem simple in the moment, but powerful when repeated daily. Because discipline creates momentum, and momentum creates results. And once results start appearing, everything changes. You feel different. You think differently. You carry yourself differently. Not because you imagined a better life, but because you built it step by step. And that is the real power of discipline. It takes your hidden potential and brings it into the real world. Because in the end, potential is only a possibility. But discipline is what turns that possibility into something real you can actually live. As you begin to build discipline and take consistent action, another truth becomes clear. It's not just about doing more, it's about stopping what's holding you back. Because no matter how strong your potential is, if you keep repeating the same limiting patterns, your progress will always be restricted. This is where most people struggle without even realizing it. They try to grow, but they don't change their patterns. They want different results, but they keep the same habits. They expect progress, but they continue thinking, reacting, and behaving in the same way every day. And because of that, nothing truly changes. Because your life is not shaped by what you do once. It is shaped by what you repeat daily. Think about the patterns that quietly run your life. The way you respond to pressure. The way you deal with challenges. The habits you follow when no one is watching. The thoughts that appear every time you try to step outside your comfort zone. These patterns feel normal because they are familiar. But familiar does not always mean helpful. Some patterns are building you. Others are limiting you. The problem is, limiting patterns don't always look negative. Sometimes they look like comfort. Sometimes they look like, I'll do it later. Sometimes they look like overthinking instead of acting. Sometimes they look like avoiding discomfort instead of facing it. And because they feel safe, you keep repeating them. But every repetition strengthens the pattern. Every time you delay, you reinforce delay. Every time you avoid, you reinforce avoidance. Every time you doubt yourself, you reinforce doubt. And over time, these patterns become automatic. You don't even think about them anymore. They just happen. And that is where your potential gets locked. Because even if you have the ability to grow, your patterns are pulling you back into the same place. This is why breaking patterns is not optional. It is necessary. But breaking a pattern does not mean making a huge change overnight. It starts with something much simpler: awareness. You begin to notice when the pattern appears. You catch yourself in the moment instead of after it's too late. You notice when you are about to delay. You notice when you are about to avoid. You notice when your mind starts repeating the same limiting thoughts. And in that moment of awareness, you have a choice. You can either follow the old pattern or you can interrupt it. That interruption is powerful, because even a small change in behavior starts weakening the old pattern. If you usually delay, you act immediately. If you usually avoid, you take a step forward. If you usually overthink, you simplify and move. These small changes may not feel dramatic, but they are exactly what creates transformation. Because patterns are built through repetition, and they are broken the same way. Every time you choose differently, you are creating a new pattern. Every time you act against the old habit, you are weakening its control. And slowly, what once felt automatic starts losing its power over you, and something new begins to form. New habits, new responses. new ways of thinking. And these new patterns start supporting your growth instead of limiting it. This is how your potential starts unlocking in real life. Not because you suddenly became a different person, but because you stopped repeating what was holding you back. You replaced it with something better, something aligned with who you want to become. And over time, this creates a completely different direction for your life. Because in the end, your future is not decided by your intentions. It is decided by your patterns. And the moment you change what you repeat is the moment your real growth begins. After everything you begin to understand, your awareness, your energy, your mind, your discipline, your patterns, it all leads to one final truth that most people overlook. Nothing changes unless you bring it into the present moment. Because your life is not lived in the past, and it is not created in the future. It is built right here in what you choose to do now. This is where most people lose their power. They think about what they will do tomorrow. They plan what they will become one day. They imagine a better version of their life somewhere in the future. But while they are thinking about that future, they are not acting in the present. And without present action, the future never changes. This is why the present moment is so powerful. It is the only place where your energy can actually be used. It is the only place where your decisions turn into action. It is the only place where your potential becomes real. But the mind does not like staying here. It keeps pulling you into the past, reminding you of mistakes, regrets, missed chances, or it pulls you into the future, creating fear, doubt, uncertainty about what might happen. And while you are stuck between past and future, you lose control of the present. And when you lose the present, you lose your ability to act. That is why so many people feel stuck. Not because they don't know what to do, but because they are not doing it now. They are waiting for the right time, the right feeling, the right moment. But that moment is not something that arrives. It is something you create, and you create it by acting in the present. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be big. It just has to be real. A small step taken now is more powerful than a perfect plan that stays in your mind. Because action in the present breaks delay. It cuts through overthinking. It reduces fear. It brings your focus back to reality. And most importantly, it starts building momentum. Momentum is what turns small actions into big results. When you act today, you make it easier to act tomorrow. When you move forward once, it becomes easier to move again. And slowly, your actions begin to connect, forming a chain of progress. But none of this happens if you keep delaying. Because delay is the silent enemy of potential. It feels harmless in the moment. I'll do it later. I'll start tomorrow. I just need more time. But those small delays add up, and over time they create a life where nothing actually moves forward. That is why the present moment must become your focus, not thinking about it, not planning endlessly, but actually doing something now. Because the present is where your awareness becomes real. It is where your discipline shows up. It is where your patterns are either repeated or broken. It is where your energy is either wasted or used. Everything comes down to this moment. And when you begin to act consistently in the present, something powerful happens. You stop feeling stuck. You stop feeling overwhelmed by the future. You stop being held back by the past. You become grounded, focused, and clear. And that clarity gives you direction, because now you are not guessing your way forward. You are building your way forward. Step by step, action by action, moment by moment. And this is how your true human potential becomes real in your life. Not through thinking, not through waiting, but through consistent action in the only moment that truly exists. Because in the end, your life will not be defined by what you plan to do. It will be defined by what you chose to do right now. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop doubting what you already have. Because your true potential is not something you find. It's something you prove through what you do right now.